How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today we're going to be taking a closer look, a real world use look at the Victron Multiplus II inverter for RVers. So this is going to go beyond what we looked at last time because we were able to just look at the specs. We actually didn't get to test anything. So we're going to show you the install. I'm going to give you a diagram. It's going to be down in the description. Everything that we talk about today, there'll be links down in the description too and to the diagram so that you can download it and be able to use it and look at it for how we installed it on our RV. But before we get into that, I want to talk about use and performance because those two things are vitally important before we talk about installing it on the RV. But in a nutshell, it did not disappoint in any of these areas. So let's look at the inverter function of this Multiplus unit. And it is at first look very efficient. It doesn't draw a ton of power when it's on and there's no loads that are already on, but it also handles those large loads very well. So when we turn on the microwave or a hair dryer or an electric tea kettle, something like that, it didn't have a problem at all. Using it on our AC unit, it had no problems on the 15,000 BTU AC. Of course, we do have a micro air easy start on there, so it takes that initial spike down, but it didn't even hesitate, didn't have any problems running it continuously. It powers anything that we would like to use on the inverter and a little bit more. Now let's move into the hybrid function of this inverter. So it has the ability to pass through the power if you're connected to an RV park, and it has the ability to give you a power assist. So the pass-through works fantastic, and that's what makes this inverter unique from the one that we had previously. It now has the two hot legs in. It is a split phase pass-through unit. When you're using this as an inverter, it's only ever going to produce 120 volts out. It cannot produce 240 volts on its own. But when it's in pass-through, say you go to an RV park and you plug your RV into a 50 amp service, it allows 240 volts to pass through. 120 on leg 1, 120 on leg 2. You have your ground and your neutral, and so all that power is able to pass through this inverter and you can use your RV just as normal. So if you're watching this video and you have a 30 amp RV, this is not the inverter that you'd want to get. You would want to get the Multiplus I that just has one hot leg in because that's all you're going to need on your RV, and it's going to be a fantastic inverter for that. This one is excellent for the 50 amp RVer. So now that brings us to the power assist function of this inverter, which is what makes this one so exciting because we don't have to have an SPS, a smart phase selector, or we don't have to have a manual switch. So now we have those two lines in and we have the power assist when we're on a 30 amp connection or a 15 or a 20 amp connection or connecting into a generator. So here's what I've learned from using it for how it works. So when you take your 50 amp RV and you're going to be plugging it in with this inverter to a 30 amp source at an RV park, you're going to be connecting in your dog bone. Let me grab one of those real quick. The reason why this is important is because it answers the two big questions that we had about this inverter. Number one, are we going to be limited by our input current that we can have when we're using power assist? And no, it doesn't limit it. We can have input current from 15 amps all the way up to 50 amps. The other question is, how does it handle the power when it's coming in? Is it going to leave us at risk of popping a breaker or melting extension cords? And the answer is no, it handles it properly, but this is why. So this is the dog bone for when you're connecting in power and you have your 30 amp on this side and then you have your 50 amp on this side. And as I've showed you before, if you look back in here, you can actually see a wire that connects leg 1 and leg 2 together in there. So it doesn't really exist to have that second leg going in there. The inverter recognizes that and disconnects from that leg 2 that doesn't really exist and uses the power assist function on leg 1. So in your RV panel, it doesn't matter which side things are on, the power assist function is going to be working on a 30 amp connection, a 20 amp connection, a 15 amp connection. If any of those sources are 120 volts, it's going to handle it properly. So for this in our RV, we actually run it continuously. We never turn it off. So when we drive, we actually still have it on. It's powering the fridge, using the inverter to power the fridge. The solar is recharging the batteries. We're also charging from the alternator, which is now in our new diagram too. And then when we get to the next place and we plug in, our batteries are still usually at 100%, depending on how much sunshine we have that day to be able to run the fridge. But the battery charger charger works great in this also. It gives you 120 amps for charging the battery, and I love the battery charger that's inside of this because it is so customizable. You can 100% customize it for exactly the battery that you buy. So when you look up the manufacturer specs, you can put in exactly how they would like it to charge, and this inverter converter does it exactly. So these are the main features why I think this inverter is so prominent. There's a lot of other bells and whistles and stuff that we can talk about in later videos that you can do with this inverter and the Victron setup. But this is why you would have an inverter like this on your RV. So now let's dive into looking at the install and what we did to install it on ours. So here's our setup. We have everything really compact and very close together, so we don't have any losses in the line. But of course, the unit here, it is connected in with conduits. Have flex that comes from the EMS surge protector, but we actually have PVC going back to the RV breaker panel. Because this has the capability of having 50 amp input if you're connected to a 50 amp generator that's only 120 volts, and then this can still actually boost from there. So if you're spreading that across the two lines, the breaker won't trip inside. So that neutral might actually be carrying more than 50 amps back to the RV breaker panel. So we used 6-gauge THHN wire, and then that had to go into a conduit that can handle that type of temperature all the way back into there. So that's why we used conduit here rather than Romex. We don't really have the capability right now of being able to plug into a 50 amp 120 volt source, but we're ready for it if we come across that in the future. Next to the inverter, we have our T-fuse. It's better to use the T-fuse in the situation between the inverter and the batteries because it's such a large draw. If you try and use this type of a fuse, I've seen it to where they'll melt, they'll burn up. The actual holder will begin to melt because it gets too hot. It's not designed for that. It's better to use the T-fuse. We have our shutoff to the batteries. This is our connection to the rest of the system. Solar we have over in that corner. We have a DC to DC battery charger in there, and we do have something that's different from the last time I showed you guys the system, is we have a disconnect going to the solar panels that's different than what we had before. I switched out to this one because it matches the voltage of what's coming from the solar panels down into the system. So I changed that on the diagram as well too. A couple other things in the system is we have the Servo GX that I've been experimenting with more features involved in the system, but that's a whole nother can of worms. We're also using the smart shunt. That way I didn't have to have a monitor mounted or a display mounted somewhere else. It gives me all the information right on our phone, which is the way that I prefer it. And you can see that we actually mounted our batteries. We created a shelf in here so I could still have storage underneath here, but that's the way that it all laid out inside of our RV. But to see how it all really connects, it's easier to see it on a diagram. So let's sit down and look at the diagram and how everything works together. Now, when we first dig into the diagram, we can see that it's really simple on the AC side. We have no manual transfer switch. We have no SPS. There's nothing in between there. So let's start on the shore power side. So yours might look a little bit different depending on your RV. For us, we do not have a generator or a transfer switch in there because we don't have a generator. So we start with the shore power, we go to the EMS surge protector, and then out of the EMS surge protector, we go to the Multiplus II, the inverter. So we have our neutral, our hot leg, a ground, and a hot leg. And then out of the inverter, we have our neutral, our hot leg, our ground, and a hot leg that then go to the RV breaker panel. It's really that simple. You have an in to the inverter and you have an out to the RV breaker panel. Now on the DC side, we can see that nothing has really changed. We have our positive and our negative. On the positive side, we have our disconnect, we have a fuse, and it connects to one side of the battery bank. Now on the negative side, we go to the shunt, and the other side of the shunt, we go to the battery bank. Remember, nothing else can connect to those batteries bypassing that shunt, otherwise it won't be calculated in your battery monitor. So on the other side of the shunt is where we have the loads connected, solar connected, the RV fuse panel connected. So everything connects on that side and connected to that bus bar. You can see that we have a DC to DC charger in there for while we drive. We have our solar connected that goes into our bus bars on the positive and negative side that then connect to the batteries. Now we have a couple of adapters. We have the USB adapter that connects by Cat 5 to the inverter, so that way we can change all the settings inside of the inverter. And then we also have the Bluetooth smart dongle, so that we can change those settings right from our phone for the source of power that we're plugging into. We can turn the inverter off, on, or charge only. That gives us the ability to adjust the inverter for our power situation that we're plugging into or how we're using the inverter. So overall, you can see how solar connects in, how the inverter sits in the system, and you can see how it all gets wired together in this diagram. So I know that was a lot of information, and there's actually a lot more to unpack with this inverter, but I think that will do it for today. So overall, we've been really happy with the inverter. It's done what we hoped that it would do. It simplified the install, and it's performed the way that we want it to when we're using the inverter. So I know they have some updates and a few things that are going to be coming out, some firmware updates to be able to help display some of that information of what's happening inside of the inverter and be able to see it easier. I'm looking forward to that, but it's performing great. So anyways, I think that'll do it for today. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video.